On behalf of the organizers, please have this mystery box and a nice medal, if it was one of your first medals.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, we have to go on, and our next speaker is Mr. Gundars Bergmanis-Korāts, a principal scientist from NATO StratCom COE, and he will tell us about AI frontiers and multimodal information warfare. Please come up on the stage. A warm applause to our next speaker. Great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, and here's the click mouse.
All right.
Perfect.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for having me here. And yes, indeed, the title of the presentation is quite long, even though the time slot is quite narrow, right? But I will try to squeeze in and deliver the main messages that I want to give to you. And today I will focus on the research that we are doing. We are a NATO StratCom Center of Excellence, and we are doing research on various topics that relate to strategic communications. And researching the information sphere, researching what is happening on information domain also relates with different cybersecurity issues as well. And I will talk and highlight the research conclusions that we have from several projects and how it relates also to the cybersecurity domain. So let's start with the first slide, and I want to briefly set the ground and give you one of the interpretations of the information warfare, which here in this presentation we can see as a continuation between these kinetic and political confrontations. So this is what links all these confrontations together. And indeed, nowadays, in every conference, there is a speaker who starts his presentation, "We live in a very challenging times." And those speakers are not wrong indeed, because the technology evolves in really fast pace. And we are constantly being challenged by our adversaries. We are constantly being challenged by our own companies, by the Western industry, by the big tech companies. So there are challenges overfloating our daily schedule as we speak. And what is quite interesting to understand is that all these wars outside of our country, in these foreign interferences, information campaigns, propaganda, comes closer to our homes, because every day we consume more and more digital information. We are used to the digital devices to our hands, and many of us are checking the X Twitter or the platform X right now before going to sleep, and reading how Ukraine is advancing in their counter warfare against the aggressor. So we are bringing on these digital platforms the war and information campaigns and digital platforms in our homes, or even in our bedrooms as well. And what I will talk and mostly focus on is that the technology within the scope of information warfare serves as a force multiplier. The technology allows our adversaries to reach different audiences, to shift the opinion, or at least to attempt to shift the opinion. And the adversary is using these technologies and social media to basically get rid or bypass the qualitative elements, because we are being drowned in information, and it's really one of the challenges that I will address here. So what's on the menu? Imagine that we have a very, very different set of audiences, very different opinions out there. And these audiences are basically consuming different social media platforms, and based on the social media platforms and based on these audiences and perceptions and the way how they think about the current political events, we can imagine these large audiences being segmented in various segments based on their behavior, based on the narratives they are spreading, based on the sentiment they are expressing towards different political events. And one of the key mistakes that a lot of researchers are doing when they are dealing with researching the information, identifying and researching information campaigns, which falls under the information warfare, foreign information warfare, is that we tend to focus only on one part of the audiences because it's just easy to do. And most of the research, what we can see and what we can read about, they are focusing on specific platform, let's say the platform X, which is the Twitter. And right now, it's a totally different landscape because, you know, Elon Musk took over the platform X, so the attitude changes, the access to the data changed, so there is no way these different research organizations can easily access this data. But what happens if we look only on a small part of this large information space, digital information space, is that we are focusing on a small detail and we are losing this big picture. So we cannot understand the scope and the real effect of these information campaigns. And let's talk about the second challenge that I want to address here. So the first challenge was about focusing on these selection biases, that we select a specific digital platform for the research. The second challenge is that when different research organizations are trying to understand the communications on the digital domain, there is also this challenge of understanding the authenticity and the reliability of the data, because one of the outcomes of our research is that these social media platforms, the digital social media platforms, are easy to manipulate. And what we do as a Center of Excellence, we are addressing this issue to these social media companies. We are conducting an experiment, and we are trying to understand and estimate how much money, actually, for how much money you can manipulate and deliver a synthetic or fake engagement on those platforms. And it turns out that it's actually quite easy. And as this graph shows you, this is the amount of manipulations that can be delivered by foreign adversary actors on the Western social media platforms and also the Contacte, using only 10 euros. So by 10 euros, you can buy let's say 9,480 YouTube views, or you can buy more than 70,000 views on TikTok. So this is the amount of money what adversaries would need to manipulate the social media post or just deliver the engagement on it. And we have to understand that the social media platforms are operating based on these recommendation system algorithms, and more you manipulate it, the more you might see a specific content that the adversary intends to. And what is quite interesting is that back in 2017, there was a time when bots generated 80% in these Russian tweets about the NATO in Estonia. This is a quite striking number at that time. And of course, a lot has been changed since then. But this is where we started, this was the information environment at that early stage. And back then, you could see a lot of accounts delivering and spreading messages, pro-Kremlin messages, using these faceless accounts that could be easily identified by a human reviewer. But it changes also over time, and also these bot accounts and troll accounts are becoming more realistic looking. And so thanks to the generative AI, there are many accounts using real person faces, descriptions of fake workplaces and biographies and so on and so on. So this is how adversaries are adapting to the technology as well. And when we talk about the content, these spam accounts and troll accounts are spreading. So there are two visualizations of topics. So this is a relative topic map. Each bubble means each circle there means that this is a topic. The bigger the topic, the bigger the circle, more this topic is being discussed. And Elon Musk recently announced that the only way how to improve and decrease the number of the bots on the platform is to ask payment for it. But there are spam accounts that are verified. So someone is already paying for that. So we don't see how it will improve the overall situation. And right now, the unverified accounts are more than the verified ones that follows this inauthentic behavior. But those who are verified are more focused on specific topics. And those who are unverified are behaving more as a spam bots and spreading a really strong narrative against the Ukraine, against the United States, and so on and so on. And also from time to time talk about cats, dogs, elections in Brazil, and some other topics. So this is how adversaries are also adapting their behavior. And when we talk about the implications of the war, at the time when the war started, there were restrictions from both sides, basically the sanctions from both sides. Russia tried to forbid everything, all the Western platforms, and so did the West tried to ban the Russian propagandists on the Western platforms. And what happened here is that the paradigm shift happened. And this is the consumption of this is the Russian-speaking community, the consumption of different platforms by Russian-speaking communities. And basically what we see here is that Instagram completely fell out, and the Telegram is gaining a huge attraction here. And this is very interesting to understand that not only we have a selection bias of the platforms, we have also the manipulation element on these platforms, and then we have these paradigm shifts on the platforms. So the way where the audiences that we intend to research and to understand, actually where these audiences are basically consuming their information on which type of platforms. So the Telegram is becoming, and it became and is still trending a lot. And what is quite interesting to see that the Russia forbid a lot of these meta platforms except the WhatsApp, and WhatsApp still surges on their daily use. So let's talk now a little bit about the artificial intelligence and the role of artificial intelligence here. So all these manipulations already are quite a huge challenge for a data analyst in different organizations and for those who research the communications. And thanks to the generative AI, it opens new horizons for different organizations and also for the adversaries to get more deeper insights from the data, to understand and to process more different modalities of the data. And indeed, when the GPT 3.5 and Google Palm was announced, it was already looked promising, and then all the global society was shocked by the GPT-4 performance, and then the hype went down because we see that there were a lot of issues, the cybersecurity issues, there were a lot of hallucination issues which is still present in these large language models. And right now we are already reading news about the Google announcing this Gemini model, which they promise to be more performant than the GPT-4. So we are already trying to grasp the effects of this AI on this information sphere and also in the cyber domain. And we are being thrown at with these new generations of the artificial intelligence models, which brings even new challenges. So there's a lot of anxiety present in this industry because the competition is really large. And here, this is the ground where this is the point where from the information warfare, which is like an umbrella term, could be reduced to the cyber warfare, where the generative AI as a co-pilot can help also to adversaries to create. To scale up their activities, to create more malware, to help to plan and design specific attacks and improve their attack vectors. But what the life shows us is that they were not always successful, and this is the early stage of early attempt of using the generative AI, the ChatGPT, in the bot networks. And what happened is that because of the guardrails implemented in these commercial solutions, those bot networks just failed because you just need one mistake from the model, and then all the networks spits out the same message. And here in this case, we could see a lot of messages which started that as an AI language model I cannot create or generate or something. So this is the challenge for the adversaries as well. But this shows that clearly there is a huge interest in using these technologies, and this is what I talked about in the beginning of the presentation, where this is a force multiplier, and they want to get rid of this qualitative element and bring up this quantitative one. So from the defender's perspective, these large language models, they allow us to learn really complex patterns from the text. And here you see two examples of racist type of the text, racist slurs basically. And these racist texts are basically in the beginning processed using just one of the open source machine learning models, which is one of the most popular ones on the open source in the open source community. And you see that the model is quite confused with the second example. And once we tried to implement and understand the sentiment using the large language models, then the results are much better. And here I put an output from the ChatGPT web interface to come up with all the possible features of the sentiment possible, and also to give a numerical estimate how the ChatGPT thinks this first example corresponds to. And this is quite impressive, because these large language models can be trained not only to give to generate text or something, but to follow specific patterns and do the analysis. So this is already quite impressive improvement for defenders. The second one is that we are able to go into the narrative level. We are able to understand the communications and to extract narratives through different specifically engineered prompts from the data. And this is a screenshot from one of our research, which is called the virtual manipulation brief, where we zoom in and follow what is the hostile communication towards the NATO. And these are the volumes of hostile communication superimposed with different events happening. And one of the most challenging one is that artificial intelligence allows us democracy defenders to already process a politically sensitive content in form of images. So this is an image that was posted by the Russian embassy, and this is the output of the Google Bard. And this is where we are heading. This was not possible before, but thanks to these large language models and multilingual multimodal models, the results are already quite impressive. And we expect that with the next generations of artificial intelligence, we'll be able to detect these foreign interferences, information campaigns in more timely manner. And of course, as you can see also on the badges, there is a chess form, the QR code. So this is where how adversaries could use, and instead of the link sharing, they could use these art type of images to share the links to the specific channels and even encode the specific information such as hostile narratives and so on, which already adds another level of complexity for defenders and for the information analysts. As if you would try to scan this image, you would already see that there is a Telegram channel of the Baltic anti-fascists encoded into this nice dog and rabbit images, right? So this is how information already can be encoded into the data. And the last thing I want to talk about is the deepfakes. The deepfakes never went away, even though we saw we already experienced in the news a cheap fakes, which is the cheap version of the high-quality deepfakes, where you can visually see with your eyes different inaccuracies, artifacts, and so on of moving faces and eyes not blinking, but the person is telling something that he never told. Just recently, we just experienced these Slovakian elections, and there were audio deepfakes posted. And if you are on the platform X, you already saw that there was in 900 seconds or in different news media were some examples showing that it's very easy for scammers to clone the voice. And indeed it is, and there are many open source projects that allows anyone, any enthusiast to do so, also in Latvian language, to clone anybody's voice. And this is another technology that can be used also to spread narratives, to do the information warfare from the global perspective, and also increases the cybersecurity risks. And therefore, I will finish with this slide, that if you go from top to bottom, and if you are exposed with positive, if you as a society or a segment in a society is being exposed with a positive event, and you follow with another positive event, then your perception about the overall all the events that happen to you might be more or less positive. But if you happen to first be introduced with a negative one and then you follow with a positive one, you are more likely inclined to be the negative about to have a negative perception about things. And that's why it's crucial to understand what is happening in our information environment, what kind of tactics are being used by adversaries, because if our society is being polarized and is being constantly introduced and fed with negative information through the manipulation of social media, then it increases risks in all the aspects. And with this, I will finish my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Yeah, the great work you are doing there. Obviously, there are two questions from the audience via Menti I'd like to ask you. Now, one is, do you expect WhatsApp daily reach to rise with channel introduction, and are there any other such trends?
Yes, indeed. The channel, this new channel feature will definitely increase the use of WhatsApp. We expect to have that, but Telegram still will play an important role because of this association not being related to Meta and these Western platforms. So all these fringe groups will rather stay on the Telegram.
Okay, good one. And the second question is, yes, we are kind of on the defensive side. So, what have you considered, changing the game to the side where you just flood the opposite side with similar, stuff, just with the truth?
No, we don't do that. We are a research center. We are understanding the tactics of our adversaries, and this is important to understand that it would. For us, the most important thing is credibility, transparency of our research, what we do, and by even attempting to do something like that, we would lose that in one moment. So we don't do that. We are just assessing what is happening there. We are not communicators per se. We are not communicating with adversaries. We are researching what they are doing.
Okay. Okay. Let's leave it like that for now.